Hello, spirit warriors. Have you ever felt like you're under attack? Like people are trying to dim your light, to knock you down, to stop you from becoming who you are truly meant to be? I'm talking about those relentless spiritual battles that have you feeling like you're the main character in a cosmic wrestling match you didn't even sign up for. Let me tell you something, spirit warriors. You are not crazy. You're not paranoid. You are not imagining things. What they're trying to do to you is going to get them killed. And I mean that in the most spiritual, wake up and smell the coffee kind of way, because God simply won't allow it. There's a reason you're a target. There's a reason your life has been a series of fiery trials and impossible situations. It's because you are a chosen one. You're not just here to exist, you're here to ignite. You're a beacon of light in a world that is, frankly, getting pretty dim. And let me tell you, darkness does not like the light. It doesn't like it one bit. I want to share a quick story with you, a story of a young woman named Sarah. Sarah was a chosen one, but she didn't know it yet. All she knew was that everywhere she went, it seemed like she was an instant target. At her job, her boss was constantly trying to undermine her, taking credit for her ideas and making her feel small. In her friendships, there was always someone trying to stir up drama and jealousy. Even her family, at times, seemed to misunderstand her and her path. She felt alone and exhausted, like she was constantly on defense. She would cry out to God, "Why me? Why is this so hard?" One day, while crying in her car after a particularly rough day at work, a random song came on the radio. The lyrics said, "You wouldn't be under so much attack if you weren't carrying something so valuable." It was a light bulb moment for Sarah. She realized that all the attacks, all the resistance, and all the spiritual warfare were not a sign of her weakness, but a testament to her power. The enemy wasn't attacking her because she was easy to beat. They were attacking her because they saw her potential. They saw the fire of God within her, and they were terrified of it. That day, everything shifted for Sarah. She stopped seeing herself as a victim and started seeing herself as a warrior. She realized that the people trying to hurt her were just pawns, acting out of their own darkness and lack of understanding. They were so focused on trying to dim her light that they were walking headfirst into their own spiritual demise. That's a powerful truth, spirit warriors, and it's exactly what we're going to dive into today. Before we get started, I want you to make a promise to me. I want you to promise to stick with me until the very end of this video, because what we're about to discuss isn't just theory. It's a spiritual battle plan. It's the knowledge you need to not only survive these attacks, but also to thrive in the middle of them. This is the truth that will set you free from the fear and exhaustion of being a target. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's get into it, chosen ones. Point 1, you are under attack because you are a light bearer. You know what's wild, spirit warrior? The devil doesn't waste his time on souls already tangled in darkness. He doesn't concern himself with the ones who've given up on their light, who've handed over the keys to their mind, heart, and spirit without a fight. No, he goes after the ones who shine, the ones who carry fire in their soul and truth in their voice. He targets the lighthouse, and if you're a chosen one, you are that lighthouse. You're not just shining for yourself, you're guiding others to safety. You carry a spiritual signal, a frequency that wakes people up from slumber, that shakes demons loose from places they've been hiding for years. That's why your very presence unsettles people. That's why you face resistance. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your light is doing exactly what it's meant to do, expose the darkness. Now let's go a little deeper. Let's break this down with some spiritual facts. In biblical scripture, light is never just about visibility, it's about truth. John 1:5 says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." That verse isn't just poetic, it's spiritual law. When light enters a space, darkness doesn't have a vote, it doesn't argue, it simply has to retreat. That's why people who are hiding things, who are living in lies, or who are operating under demonic influence, they react to you. Sometimes you'll hear gossip, feel tension, see them move funny when you walk in. But here's the kicker. You didn't even do anything. You just showed up. You don't even have to say a word. Your spirit walks in ahead of you. Your aura speaks volumes. The light of God within you starts illuminating every fake smile, every deceitful intention, every false narrative, and people feel exposed. Not because you're judging them, but because they've been judging themselves in silence. They've been lying to themselves, and your truth disturbs that lie. And don't be surprised when they try to dim you. They'll lie to you, reject you, and try to make you doubt your worth because deep down, they hope you'll turn off your own light. But they don't understand something crucial. This isn't a battery-powered light they can switch off. This is divine fire. It doesn't flicker with the wind. It grows under pressure. Picture walking into a pitch-black room with a single candle. Suddenly, everything once hidden, the mess, the dust, the forgotten skeletons, becomes visible. That's what you are. Illumination in human form. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Some people like the dark. It protects their secrets. It shields their egos. So when you start exposing things, even unknowingly, they will treat you like the problem. But Spirit Warrior, don't be fooled. Their discomfort is not your cue to dim. It's confirmation that you're doing what you were sent to do. Think of it like spiritual warfare radar. When the attack increases, it's a signal you're getting warmer, closer to something powerful. The devil doesn't show up unless there's something worth stopping, and that something is you. And no matter how they try to blow out your candle, remember, what you carry is not man-made. You don't run on compliments. You don't depend on applause. Your source is God. Your strength is spirit. Your light is not a flicker. It's a bonfire straight from heaven. And here's the twist that makes it all worth it. The more they try to smother you, the brighter you'll shine. Why? Because fire gets stronger with oxygen. And all that hate, all that drama, all those whisper campaigns, that's oxygen. So keep burning, keep shining. Let your presence remind the world what can't be hidden forever. Let your truth be a torch. And the next time you walk into a room and everything shifts, don't shrink, smile. Because now you know they're not reacting to you. They're reacting to the light of God moving through you. You're not just in the battle, Spirit Warrior. You are the battle they didn't see coming. Point 2. Their attacks are actually a divine validation. This might sound absolutely wild, Spirit Warrior, but I need you to catch this in your soul. Every single attack you face, every whisper, every betrayal, every random burst of resistance is actually confirmation. That's not just some spooky coincidence or universal bad luck. No, that's divine validation. That's heaven nodding at you like, yep, they got it. They're on a mission, and hell is shaking in its boots. You know how we always hear new levels, new devils? It's not just a catchy phrase, it's spiritual law. Anytime light moves forward, darkness gets restless. Think about it. If you were irrelevant to the kingdom of darkness, why would it waste its resources on you? You don't shoot arrows at someone who's sitting still. You shoot at the one making noise in enemy territory. So if it feels like you've been under fire lately, here's the truth. It means you're making waves in the spirit realm. Let's break this down with something simple. Imagine you're building a beautiful garden. You're planting roses, sunflowers, fresh herbs, and fruit trees. Your space is alive. It's thriving and it's purposeful. But then suddenly you look up and realize weeds are popping up everywhere. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your garden is starting to flourish. The more beauty you create, the more the weeds try to choke it out. And here's the kicker. Those weeds didn't start growing because you were lazy. They grew because you were effective. Now, apply that to your life. Those attacks, the gossip, the sabotage, the spiritual warfare, they're not happening to you. They're happening because of you. You're walking in alignment. You're doing something sacred. You're awakening people, healing bloodlines, breaking curses, and changing atmospheres. That kind of impact disturbs darkness. That kind of light pulls demons out of hiding. That's why you get attacked when you're minding your business, glowing in peace and loving on people. That's why old friends start acting funny. Family members get cold and opportunities randomly fall through. It's not rejection, Spirit Warrior. It's redirection. And it's divine protection from the things you don't see. Psychologically, there's also a reason this happens. Humans have what's called negativity bias, a cognitive shortcut that makes our brains scan for threats before anything else. When someone with light enters a space full of hidden shadows, your confidence, your peace, your alignment, it exposes things people were trying to avoid. They feel threatened, not because you did anything wrong, but because your presence silently convicts them. And instead of self-reflection, they project. That's where the attacks come from. Their guilt sees your grace and it panics. Even biblically, it's always been this way. Joseph got thrown in a pit for having dreams. David got hunted down for having favor. Jesus was crucified for speaking truth. If heaven endorses you, don't expect the world to clap. Expect resistance, expect fire, but also expect glory on the other side. Here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. The attack is temporary, but your purpose is eternal. Every dart thrown at you is proof that your light is blinding darkness. Every delay is a setup for elevation. Every lie told in your name is fertilizer for the harvest God is about to grow from your obedience. So what do you do when you feel that heat? You don't shrink, you don't second guess yourself. You don't give up, you stand tall like the warrior you are. You keep building that garden, you keep planting purpose. You keep trusting God even when the weeds try to wrap around your ankles. Because Spirit Warrior, your fire is holy. And when holy fire meets the darkness, something's going to burn. So the next time it feels like you're under attack, don't panic, praise. Because heaven just confirmed you're doing exactly what you were sent to do. And hell? Hell is losing its grip. Point 3, God won't allow it. But what does that mean? Now, when we say God won't allow it, we're not talking about some Disney fairy tale where everything is sunshine and dandelions, and nobody ever talks behind your back or throws darts at your destiny. Nah, we're talking about a real spiritual battlefield where attacks will come, but they won't conquer. That's not just motivational fluff. That's biblical truth backed by spiritual principle and psychological depth. You were never promised a pain-free life, but you were promised protection, covering, and divine authority that overrides the plot of the enemy. And that's what this video is about. See, Isaiah 54:17 is one of the most misquoted, yet deeply powerful verses in Scripture. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Let's pause there. It doesn't say no weapon will be formed. It doesn't say you won't be hit, wounded, rejected, lied about, sabotaged, or made to feel like you're drowning. What it does say is that the weapon won't succeed. It might rattle you, shake you, and even scare you, but it will not win. Because it's not about whether the enemy tries. It's about what God allows to unfold in your life for a divine reason. So let's unpack the divine logic in this. Spiritually, God doesn't allow just anything into your life. He's not sitting up there in heaven throwing chaos your way just to watch you struggle. He is strategic. In fact, theologians call this the permissive will of God, meaning there are some things God permits to happen not to destroy you, but to develop you. That betrayal, it gave you discernment. That heartbreak, it gave you clarity. That rejection, it made room for alignment. God didn't allow it to ruin you, He allowed it to refine you. And refinement isn't pretty, let's be honest. It's fire, it's pressure, it's pruning. But just like gold needs to be melted down to remove the impurities, you needed to be placed in the fire so that everything in you that couldn't come with you into the next level would fall away. That's why when people left you, it hurt, yes. But later you realized they were spiritually unequipped to walk with the version of you that's about to rise. And that's not ego, that's divine alignment. You see, the enemy has one goal: to derail your assignment. And if he can't destroy your calling, he'll try to break your confidence. That's why the attacks are always personal. That's why the lies are always strategic. It's not about what they said, it's about what they hoped you'd believe. Because if you believe the lie that you're not good enough, smart enough, anointed enough, or chosen enough, you'll sit down when God calls you to stand up. But God won't allow it. He won't allow the enemy to have the final say over your story. He won't allow the storm to wipe out your purpose. He won't allow that trauma to steal your joy forever. He won't allow that pain to define you. And most importantly, He won't allow you to forget who you are. That's why sometimes, right in the middle of your mess, God will stir your spirit and remind you, you are still chosen, you are still covered, you are still called. Psychologically, this is powerful. There's a phenomenon called post-traumatic growth, and it's real. Studies show that many people emerge from hardship not only resilient, but also transformed with deeper wisdom, stronger purpose, and higher levels of self-awareness. That's not by accident. That's God. He took what was meant to break you and used it to build you, and that's why, Spirit Warrior, when things go wrong, it doesn't always mean something's broken. It often means something sacred is being birthed. So next time you feel like the enemy's winning, pause. Breathe. Remember, the presence of pressure is not the absence of God. It's evidence that something powerful is being preserved inside of you. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Let the weapons form. Let the haters talk. Let the storm rage. Because in the end, they'll see. God didn't allow it to break you. He allowed it to build you. Point 4. Their fate is sealed by their own actions. Have you ever noticed how the people plotting against you always end up tripping over their own traps? It's almost comical, like watching someone set fire to a bridge they still have to walk across. Spirit warrior, the beautiful and frankly hilarious truth is this. When someone tries to take you down with hate, gossip, jealousy, or manipulation, they're actually setting themselves up for their own spiritual downfall. What they send out returns to them. It's not just karma, it's divine justice. Spiritual boomerangs don't miss their targets. See, there are spiritual laws in motion that operate with precision. Whether you believe in God, the universe, or the energetic blueprint of creation, there's no denying that what you sow, you reap. Every word you speak and every action you take carries energy. And when someone sows evil with a heart full of malice, that seed will grow, and they will eat the fruit of it. It's spiritual physics. Now let's make it real. Think about the story of Haman from the book of Esther. This man was high up in the king's court, powerful, influential, and he hated Mordecai. A faithful, quiet, God-fearing man. Haman was so blinded by envy and rage that he built gallows 75 feet high just to kill him. But guess what? In a divine plot twist so poetic it could win an Oscar, Haman was the one who ended up swinging from the very gallows he built. That's not coincidence. That's God's justice in motion, or take Daniel. Jealous officials couldn't stand his integrity, so they manipulated the law to trap him, getting him thrown into the lion's den. But God shut the mouths of the lions, and when Daniel came out unharmed, guess who got thrown into the den instead? The very men who plotted against him. That's not just an old Bible story, that's a warning written across time. What you throw at a spirit warrior will come back to devour you. It's the law of divine reciprocity. Galatians 6:7 says it plainly. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. People often forget this law applies to everything, not just money or blessings. It applies to the whispers behind your back, the daggers thrown in secret, and the sabotage hidden under a smile. And when it's aimed at a chosen one, someone marked by God for purpose and protection, the harvest of that wickedness is multiplied. Now here's where it gets deep. When you're walking in truth, in light, in your divine purpose, you become a mirror. You reflect what others don't want to see about themselves. Your peace exposes their chaos. Your glow triggers their darkness. Your winds make their stagnancy unbearable. They start to resent you, not because of what you've done, but because of what you represent. You remind them of every lie they've told themselves, and instead of changing, they attack the mirror. But Spirit Warrior, you don't have to break your silence. You don't have to prove your innocence. You don't have to fight dirty or return the favor. You stand still. Let the storm rage because you know the truth. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. I will repay. You're not alone in this. You're not defenseless. You are divinely backed. So let them plot. Let them whisper, let them dig their own holes, because the deeper they dig, the harder they fall. When people try to curse you, they end up cursing themselves. That's why the gossip gets louder, the lies get messier, and the sabotage keeps backfiring. You're not cursed. You're covered. Their hate is the fuel God uses to elevate you. Every trap becomes your testimony. Every attack becomes your anointing oil, and every lie they speak becomes the ladder you climb. So smile, Spirit Warrior. You don't even have to lift a finger. Just keep shining, keep walking, keep being. Because while they throw stones, heaven throws justice. Point 5, you are protected by an unseen army. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like the energy shifted before you even spoke? Like the air tightens, eyes flicker toward you, and people start whispering in corners. That's not your imagination, that's spiritual warfare, because as a chosen one, you're not just walking in your own strength. You're rolling deep with divine backup. You're not alone. You're backed by a heavenly army, a full battalion of angels on assignment, flanking your left and right, watching your six, and waiting for the command to protect what belongs to God, you. Psalm 34:7 says it plainly. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Picture that. You're not walking through life like an unprotected wanderer. You are a walking fortress covered by celestial fire. Every time someone tries to throw shade, speak curses over your name, or plot your downfall, they're not just dealing with you, They are trying to throw hands with heaven itself. And spoiler alert, they lose every time. Remember that scene in 2 Kings 6? Elisha and his servant are surrounded by a hostile army. The servant panics, thinking they're outnumbered, but Elisha, calm, unbothered. He prays, "Lord, open his eyes." And boom, the servant sees the truth. The hills are lit up with horses and chariots of fire. Heaven's military surrounded the enemy that thought they had the upper hand. That wasn't just a Bible story, that was a blueprint for how God defends his people, and that same divine security is wrapped around you. Now here's where it gets real interesting. People can feel that spiritual protection around you, even if they don't understand it. That's why some folks get uncomfortable in your presence. It's not because you did anything, it's because your spirit exposes their darkness. Your presence alone convicts them. When you walk in truth, when you speak with purpose, when your energy doesn't shrink to fit their comfort, it agitates the demons they've been entertaining. You're not fighting flesh and blood, spirit warrior. You're confronting principalities without even trying. And that's why the gossip gets louder. That's why you hear your name in mouths that never even said hello to you. Because when truth enters a space, lies start scrambling for cover. Your very existence is a disruption to deception. You don't have to prove anything. You are the proof. Science can't fully explain the spiritual realm, but it can acknowledge energy. Quantum physics shows us that everything vibrates, including thoughts, emotions, and intentions. You walk into a room aligned with divine frequency, and suddenly low vibes can't breathe. That's why people either gravitate toward you or run from you. There's rarely an in-between. You're spiritually charged, and those who walk in deceit or insecurity, they feel exposed. Let's go deeper. Angels aren't just sweet little cherubs floating around with harps. According to Scripture, they are powerful, strategic, and assigned. Hebrews 1:14 says, "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" That means they're not just watching, they're working. They are on a mission for your protection, guidance, and victory. This is why some accidents almost happen but don't, why you've been in rooms with dangerous energy and walked out untouched, why plans against you crumbled before they even launched. It's not luck, it's not a coincidence, it's divine intervention, it's the unseen hand of God saying, "Touch not my anointed." So stand tall, spirit warrior. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to fight dirty. You fight in the spirit with wisdom, grace, and unshakable faith. The next time someone comes for you, just smile. Because if they could see who's standing behind you in the spirit, they'd fall on their face in fear. You're not alone. You never were. And every battle you face, just another opportunity for heaven to flex on your behalf. Keep walking. Your entourage has already gone before you. Point 6. Your power is in your forgiveness and purity. You know what's absolutely divine, spirit warrior? That your truth alone holds the kind of resonance that can dissolve entire illusions effortlessly, almost silently. This isn't about ego, it's not about superiority, it's about alignment. When your soul is in alignment with a higher purpose, when your intentions are clean, your spirit is unshackled, and your energy is no longer leaking into spaces that dishonor you, you become a walking frequency of truth. And frequency, as science confirms, changes the environment around it. Everything vibrates. From your heartbeats to your thoughts, your energy field sends out signals that others before they even fully comprehend. That's why, when you walk into a room standing firm in your truth, with no need to argue or perform, you disrupt everything false. People may not understand what shifted, but they feel it. Their narratives, which once thrived in the shadows, begin to falter, and all you did was show up, authentically, unapologetically, powerfully aligned. What makes this kind of presence so powerful is that it operates at both the spiritual and psychological levels. Spiritually, your aura, a term often dismissed as New Age fluff but validated by practices like Kirlian photography and electromagnetic field theory, is vibrating at a higher frequency. That frequency doesn't battle like we're taught in traditional warfare. It exposes, it illuminates, it radiates in such a way that darkness can't comfortably coexist. On a psychological level, this triggers something known as cognitive dissonance in others. That's a real psychological phenomenon where someone's brain experiences stress when confronted with conflicting beliefs or truths. So when someone who's spent months or even years painting you in a false light sees you standing in divine confidence, glowing with resilience, it shakes them to their core. Their brain scrambles to reconcile the truth they're witnessing with the lie they believed or spread. And when the truth is too blinding, that's when the attacks come. They'll call you arrogant. They'll say you've changed. They might gossip, slander, and twist your words. Not because you're wrong, but because your glow is a painful mirror reflecting back every way they've dimmed theirs. Your light reveals what they tried to hide, not just about you, but about themselves. This is why spiritually grounded people often attract resistance. You're not just seen as a person, you're a catalyst. And catalysts aren't always welcomed. They cause transformation. Transformation threatens comfort zones, and comfort zones, especially those rooted in fear or manipulation, will always resist. But here's the key. Your power isn't in matching their frequency. It's not in clapping back, proving points, or fighting fire with fire. That's not spiritual power. That's emotional exhaustion. Your true strength lies in your ability to rise above it. Not from a place of pride, but from wisdom. Forgiveness in this light becomes more than just a virtue. It becomes sacred warfare. It's not about saying what they did was okay. It's about severing the spiritual cords that keep you energetically tethered to them. Neuroscience backs this up too. Studies show that unforgiveness increases stress hormones like cortisol and keeps the body in fight or flight. But forgiveness reduces stress, improves mental clarity, and even enhances immune function. On a soul level, it's liberation. On a body level, it's healing. So when you forgive, you're not letting them off the hook. You're freeing yourself from the prison of their energy. And make no mistake, this freedom terrifies them, because people whose power comes from control or deception can't fathom a person who doesn't need either. You're not controlled by their opinion. You're not reactive to their drama. You're not baited by their tactics. That level of sovereignty, it's spiritual rebellion. It breaks the game they've mastered. You become unplayable and unshakable. And instead of you shrinking to make others comfortable, you expand, radiating so fully that it forces people to either rise or recoil. So keep walking in that truth, spirit warrior. Stay steady, stay centered. Let your presence preach louder than your words ever could. You are not here to convince, you are here to, and that being is revolutionary. It is the sermon, it is the resistance, it is the healing. And yes, it is the holy fire that consumes every lie whispered behind your back. Because your power was never in being liked. It was always in being. And that kind of light, it doesn't beg to be seen. It just shines unapologetically, divinely, and eternally. Point 7, your true mission is to rise, not to fight. And finally, the ultimate takeaway, the soul-level truth that every spirit warrior must remember. Your mission is not to fight every battle they throw at you. Your mission is to rise, to glow, to fulfill the divine calling etched into your soul before you even took your first breath. You weren't sent here to waste your light swinging at every shadow. You were sent here to be the light that reveals the truth hiding in the shadows. Let's get real. Darkness doesn't need to destroy you to win. It only needs to distract you. Every smear campaign, every betrayal, every passive-aggressive jab, and every false narrative isn't just noise. It's a calculated attempt to reroute your focus from destiny to drama. It's spiritual misdirection, because as long as you're busy defending yourself, you're not creating, not healing, and not awakening others with your presence. And that's the danger. Because when a spirit warrior fully steps into purpose, when you walk in peace, lead with love, speak with wisdom, and live with divine alignment, you become a spiritual nuclear force. Not destructive, but transformative. And people who are still enslaved by ego, addiction to power, or trauma loops, they fear that kind of radiance. Your shine reminds them of the shadows they haven't faced yet. Rumi said it best, "Don't you know yet? It is your light that lights the world." And what lights the world will always be targeted, but don't shrink. Don't dull down to make the room comfortable. Shine brighter. Because the most powerful clapback is not in proving them wrong with words. It's in living a life so full of meaning, healing, and divine timing that they have no choice but to fall silent in the face of your evidence. Let them talk, let them mock, let them plot. You rise. Not out of spite, out of sacred assignment, out of grace, out of alignment. This is your era to soar above noise and nonsense. Stay focused, spirit warrior. Because when you stop fighting for attention and start living on purpose, your presence becomes the loudest message of all. So, spirit warriors, remember this. The next time you feel the weight of spiritual attack, don't get discouraged. Get encouraged, because it's not a sign of your weakness. It's a testament to your power. God won't allow it to destroy you. And the people trying to hurt you are already walking toward their own demise. You're a chosen one, and your light is needed now more than ever. I want to hear from you in the comments below. What has been your biggest challenge as a chosen one, and what has helped you overcome it? Let's build a community of light and support. Until next time, stay blessed, stay protected, and keep shining that beautiful light.